Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is CJ, and with my wife Natalie, we pastor WavePoint Church here in Jeffreys Bay, South Africa. We planted WavePoint in 2019, and God gave us a very simple vision, is that we want to create a place for people to belong. We want people to connect with Jesus, and we want to empower them to change their world. And that vision really aligns so much with Christian Surfers, with Groundswell Aid, with Surf Church Collective. Why? Because I believe every surfer in every surfing community needs a place to belong, needs to connect to Jesus, and we need to empower them to change their world. So in 2019, when we planted WavePoint Church, it was about 10 months before COVID hit. And because we were a small church at the time, and when COVID came, we decided, you know what, we're just gonna lay low and see kind of how things go. But I remember that second week, we started feeling, and there was a massive need in Jeffreys Bay, just in food and in caring and pastoring with people. And we decided, man, we're gonna take a little bit of money that we have, and we're gonna put some food parcels together, which we did. And we just started going from door to door, house to house. And about a week or so into that, I got a call from Roy Harley. He's actually on our leadership team at church. And he said to me, man, there's a couple of surfers in Jeffreys Bay that have raised a ton of money, and they're looking for a place where they can bring all the food and distribute it from. Do you think we could use the church? And I was like, man, come on, the church's doors is closed, it should be open. And we opened up our church. And I remember the morning when I got to church, waiting for these surfers to arrive. Instead of them arriving, there was 2 trucks that came with tons and tons and tons of food. And it was literally from having 5 to 10 food parcels that we were giving out, we started giving out 1,000 food parcels, just by God connecting us with these young men. And through that, we were able to feed our community for over 12 weeks. We had over 1,000 volunteers come through our church, people that would never normally come to a church. And most of those 1,000 people were surfers that were never connected to church. And has ended up through that, started coming to church and be part of what God is doing at WavePoint.
Hello, how are you? Good, this is your house. How many people?
So out of the pandemic, we obviously realized that, man, we needed something that's going to be a bit more sustainable. And so we started dreaming up the idea of a garden, a food garden, and we started up the WavePoint Groundswell Aid food garden. It started with a bunch of boxes that we started growing fresh produce. And from there, it went into us actually teaching people how to grow their own vegetables. A lot of people that may be sitting in the room today have partnered with us to make that happen as well. And subsequently, as time has gone by, what we've done is we've actually transitioned the garden from not just giving food to the community, we're actually supplying fresh produce to one of the restaurants locally here in Jeffreys Bay. I think some of you guys know it's called Nina's. And with the finance that comes in from that, we have been able to buy new surfboards, which is part of our WavePoint Surf program that also started during the lockdown, and we call it the WavePoint Surf Leadership Initiative. And the heart behind it is just to use surfing as a tool or surfing as a vehicle to raise up leaders. I really feel I'm a local here from J Bay. I grew up here, and if there's something that we're lacking in our community is leaders. And that's really where the heart of Surf Leadership Initiative started from, is that we wanted to use this beautiful sport of surfing or activity of surfing and raise up leaders through that. I love what John Maxwell says. He says everything rises and falls on leadership. And if I look in my community and even in our nation, most of the things that are going wrong, even in your nation, is to do with leaders. And if we want to change our community, if we want to change Palstras here in J Bay, we got to start with leaders. We're raising up the next generation of leaders. So we have about sometimes 35 to 40 kids come on a Monday and a Thursday to the WavePoint Surf Leadership Initiative. And what we do there is we break it down where we do basic leadership principles that we're teaching the kids. We do some worship with them, we get in the Word with them, and then of course we get them into the water as well. And we've got about 5 to 6 of our local coaches that are on the program. We also partner with the CS crew. They also come through and volunteer on a weekly basis at the Surf Leadership Initiative.
Surfing is the greatest gift of my life, and I know it's going to be the greatest gift of your life too. So let's all respect each other and respect the ocean and have a good time. That's what it's about. So thanks again, and let's catch some waves.
something exciting that has happened, that has come out of the surf leadership, has been the Wavepoint Surf team. And these are kind of a little bit more of an elite sort of program that we started, and through that we've been able to identify, some young up-and-coming talented surfers here in J-Bay, and we're helping them with extra coaching, we're helping them with video analysis, we're helping them just with mindset training, we're helping them with conditioning, and it's really just saying, man, hey, we believe in you and we're willing to invest. Another one of the projects that we have been able to start through the Wavepoint Foundation has been our outreach to gangsters here in Jeffreys Bay. Over the last while, we've seen a massive increase in gang activity, gang violence, gang murders, and as always, us as a church, we feel like, man, God has called us here to make a difference here, and we can't just stand by and not do anything. So a couple of months ago, we just started by going into the community, making a fire right in front of the gang leaders' homes, and we would just invite these guys to come, and we would start having conversation around the fire and start asking them about their dreams, and speaking into their purpose and the plan that God has for them. And I remember those couple of Fridays, I said to the Lord, how do we sustain this? How do we don't just keep this at being one moment where we're doing an outreach, but how do we sustain it? And I felt God was speaking to me about discipleship. And we started a Wednesday night discipleship with a whole lot of these gang members and gang leaders. And out of that discipleship group, we were able to have a gang retreat where we gathered them together. And again, just to speak purpose into their lives, speak destiny into their lives. And out of that, we have connected with a Christian rehab center up north close to Johannesburg. And currently there are 7 of those gangsters that are in rehab, with one of them being one of the gang leaders that are there currently as well, So yeah, man, God is doing incredible, amazing things down here in Jeffreys Bay. But obviously we cannot do any of these things on our own. We do this because of partnership. That's what God's laid on my heart. He said, CJ, you will do this with partnership. And God has sent incredible partners like Groundswell 8. Thank you so much for your guys' partnership in what we're doing here. Through our partnership with Groundswell 8, we've been able to build a skate park where kids come on a weekly basis just to be able to skate, to be able to surf. We've got this incredible property right down at the beach where these kids just come, and it can just be a life-giving space for them, So I want to thank you guys, Surf Church Collective, Rich, your family, for the time that you guys have been here and how you've sowed into what God is doing here. It's just phenomenal, So man, we just want to say thank you for believing in us and partnering with us on this journey. Hopefully I see you guys next time at conference. God bless.